I'm Rob Colias, and I'm here with Kurt Suzuki, and this is a very special edition of the Maui News Sports Report. And gosh, Kurt, let's just start where we always do. How gratifying is it to be back here on the field that you played high school baseball on, and giving back to the community in this way?
Yeah, it's always special. You know, like you said, this is where I grew up playing, and this is where I play high school baseball, and you know, it's always special. You know, it's coming back and, you know, seeing the smiles on these kids' faces when they come out here, they're playing, they get, you know, t-shirts, you know, gift bags, and you know, it's just a fun all-around event. And
now, Kurt, you're coming off your first All-Star appearance. Your first year in Minnesota, you signed a modest deal. Now you've got a contract in place for the next few years. Just tell me a little bit, how special was the 2014 season for you?
Well, very special. You know, with the success and all that kind of stuff, that's always nice. But the thing was, I was back to having fun again. You know, baseball was fun. Going out there every single day and playing the game that I love to do, and have fun again while I'm at it. You know, you tend to lose a little bit of that feeling, you know, and which rightfully so. You know, it's a grind, it's a long season, but you know, to get back having fun again, and you know, being in a great city, and to make the All-Star team, I think everything couldn't have played out better. Yeah. And
you got to be an All-Star in your team city. How special was that whole experience?
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. You know, with the fan fest festivities going on, just everything. You know, the home crowds out behind you, and everybody was kind of telling me how it's going to be. I never really knew. I mean, just from people telling me, but to really see the ovation that you get when you get mentioned, it's a feeling that you really can't describe.
And really a career year for you as well, which doesn't happen for a lot of 30-year-old catchers. You hit 288. Did you surprise yourself just a bit in the 2014 season?
Not really. You know, I've always felt confident in my abilities, and I've felt really positive in what I could do. And you know, it's just one of those things that it just kind of happened. And you know, in this game, once you get that confidence rolling, it just keeps going, and it could go the other way too, you know, and I've experienced both ways now, and so it was a great time, and you know, it was a great season.
And for a lot of catchers, once they hit that big 3-0 mark, you know, things can fade just a little bit. How do you feel? You're now 31. How do you feel? Where are you at?
I feel great. My body feels great. You know, I'm just taking it day by day. You know, I really feel good. I really do. It's more the mental side, the mental break, and just you know, that's kind of the most important part for me, is getting that mental break. But body-wise, everything feels great.
Tell me, how much of a home have you kind of found there in the Twin Cities in Minnesota? How comfortable do you feel?
I feel awesome. You know, family loves it there. The lakes, you know, right by our house, so you know, kids have fun, and it's just a great spot. You know, it really is a great spot. It worked out perfectly, and I couldn't be happier.
And you've got that contract in place for the next couple years with a third-year option there. How much does that do for just your psyche? Does that settle things down a bit?
I don't want to say settle things down. Okay. I think you get that security, obviously, which is nice for your family, and you know, your family always comes first. But it's just one of those things where you now it's time to prove your worth. And you know, everybody always says, you know, you get comfortable and all that stuff. I look at it the opposite, where you know, you're making all that money, you feel like, you know, you have a lot to prove, and I want to, you know, just prove more to myself than everybody else that, you know, last year was something that is the norm for me. You know, that's how I should play, and you know, it doesn't happen that way, but you know, you go out there every year to try to do better.
I know you had a real respect for Ron Gardenhire. How sad were you to see him go, and how excited are you to play for Paul Molitor?
Yeah, Gardy was awesome. He was an awesome manager, great manager, one of my favorites. You know, he really kept the clubhouse loose, and I've got so much respect for him. And you know, but you know, like he said, you know, it felt like it was time, and stuff like that. And you know, you respect a guy like that, and that's kind of how he was. He takes ownership on everything. And you know, with Molly coming in, you know, it almost like he kind of, I want to say he demands respect, but with his accolades, Hall of Famer, yeah, the career that he's had, you almost feel that respect right away. You know, you don't feel like you have to earn it, because he's earned everything he's earned the respect. He's with his playing and everything like that, and with him being on the staff last year, he kind of got to know a lot of players, and you get to know him on a personal level. And I mean, he's going to be great for us.
And how much potential does this Twins team have? How excited are you for the 2015 season?
Oh, I'm super excited. It's going to be a great season. We got some new additions. You got Torrey, Urban Santana, so we got a lot of young guys that are ready to make that leap. I feel, you know, we got some really good talent, and it's just going out there and performing, and that's the bottom line. You can have all the talent you want on paper, but you just got to go out there and perform, and we feel that we're at that point where we can go out there and we can, you know, compete and prove ourselves.
You're back in the American League, obviously, and that's where you've spent most of your career. How comfortable are you with, you know, the American League circuit?
Really comfortable. I like the American League. Like you said, I'm there for most of my career, and you know, I love the National League too. It's a good change of pace, but the American League I think is kind of where I'm at, and I don't know. I don't think it's really, you know, you do better in one league or the other. You know, I think it's just going out there and playing, and obviously there's different rules, but you know, it is a different league. But for me, everything's kind of the same. The game's still the same. You just got to go there, play the ball, catch the ball, throw the ball, and hit the ball.
And after the season you're coming off, do you feel like is there more of that? I mean, has that kind of, not that rejuvenated, but you feel good and you've got that confidence level? Are you ready to roll?
I'm always ready to roll.
Right.
I think you know, I try to, you know, what happened in the past, you know, I try not to rest on those morals. I like to improve myself every single year, and I feel like there's always bigger and better things on the horizon, and you know, preparing myself for that, I feel really good. I'm like I said, I'm ready to roll. Whatever happened in the past last year is last year, and now I'm moving on to a new year and ready to rock.
Here, just skipping around here a little bit, you're back on your home island where you were born and raised. What's it like when you come back to Maui?
It's great. You know, like you said, this is where I grew up. I got, you know, my best friends are here, and you know, this is where my heart is. And you know, I obviously live in California now, and you know, have a family up there, but this is always going to be home for me. And it's nice coming home, seeing all my friends and seeing everybody that I grew up with and all that stuff. So it's always nice.
And last question, what kind of message do you give to these kids each year you get to do this? What is the basic gist of the message that you try to impart to them?
Really just having fun, you know, going out there, having fun, enjoying themselves, you know, always, you know, remember it's just a game. You know, it's the game of baseball. You're a kid. You're supposed to go out there and have fun. You know, sometimes you get caught up in, you want to do so well, the success and the failures, and you get caught up in that kind of stuff. It's not good. As a kid, you know, win or lose, succeed or fail, as long as you have fun, that's kind of the main thing, and that's kind of what I try to preach. And easier said than done. You know, anybody can talk about it, but it's going out there and really, you know, it really is just going out there and having fun.
We're here with Baldwin baseball coach John Viella, and John, this is an annual occurrence that Kurt brings to Maui, and how special is it that this clinic? How special is it for the kids?
I think it's really special. You know, the opportunity they have to experience a clinic like this. You know, to cover all the aspects of the game with you know, with coaches who played, you know, beyond high school. And then to have Kurt, you know, who's currently playing, you know, in the big leagues, you know, come out and give his input also. So, you know, the experience that they gain from this clinic alone is huge.
And Kurt does this with his own funds and with his foundation. How much does it say about the man that he comes out here and does this with the kids?
You know, I don't think words can explain what type of person Kurt is. You know, in short, you know, he's very humble. You know, he's a person who lives by, you know, the value of being pono. You know, and you know, he likes to give back, you know, to the community. And then, you know, if you have time talking with him, you can see that he's still got that local boy blood in him. You know, listen to him. He has his pidgin English. You know, and you can hold a conversation with him. You know, he's not one of those big league guys who, you know, don't have the time, you know, for anyone. But, you know, Kurt is totally different from that. And
he's given back to your program at Baldwin High School, where he starred back in the day. He's given back to you guys in a big way, hasn't he?
Oh, he did. He did very much. You know, he helped us create our own hitting facility. You know, he comes back and he provides instructions for our catchers, you know, provide one-on-one instructions for our catchers. you know, and then we pick his brain. You know, the coaches pick his brain about hitting, you know, about all aspects of the game, base running, you know, fielding and everything else.
Did it surprise you that he had the career year that he did as a 30-year-old catcher? That doesn't happen very often. He hits 288. He's an all-star for the first time. Did that surprise you in 2014?
You know what? It surprised us just to a certain extent, because, you know, we expected him to be there, you know, every year, you know, and we pull hard for him, you know, and I think the word this year was exciting. It was exciting to watch him, you know. It was very rewarding to see, you know, how he goes and play the game, you know, knowing where he came from, you know, and his upbringing, you know, raised by very good parents, you know, have very good family background, you know, and then played for us at Baldwin, you know. So, you know, we have high expectations for him. He's a hell of a player, you know. So, I mean, we knew that he could, you know, make the All-Star game, you know. We knew he could hit well, you know. So, you know, it was exciting. You know, it wasn't a surprise, you know, because we knew that potentially he's a hell of a player.
And what does it say about him? He pays for kids from Molokai, Lanai to come to this clinic. That just says even more about the man, doesn't it? Takes it out of his own pocket.
Yeah, very. It's big time. I mean, his heart is so huge. You know, he has, you know, opened up the clinic to everybody he can. You know, being he's a Maui boy, we try to keep it in a Maui County. You know, and the turnout from Lanai and Molokai has been big. You know, so, you know, everybody's excited. You know, especially the Maui kids. You know. But to do something like this, you know, for the county of Maui, you know, I think speaks volumes for who Kurt is.
We're here with Shane Dudawa, longtime baseball coach, former Molokai star baseball player back in the day. And Shane, just tell me, when you see this type of thing happening year after year and Kurt coming back to where he's from, what kind of message does it send about Kurt?
It sends a message, I think, to all our kids that Kurt's just such a humble guy. He loves giving back to the community. For the kids, I think it's an opportunity to see a local boy that's made it to the pros, that's become an all-star this year, and who's coming back and giving back to the kids.
And Kurt really never forgot where he's from, did he?
Not at all. He played here, he's come back and runs the camp, and this is a beautiful facility, and they've done a good job this year in taking care of the field, and yeah.
What are your memories of Kurt as a Baldwin Bear? Do you remember those days were you watching him play in those days?
Not really. I was back on Molokai when he was here in Maui.
Right.
So, I mean, just, you know, I went up to New York this past summer and went to go watch the Twins play the Yankees, and he actually called me down towards the field, and they wouldn't let me get down towards the field, so he jumped over the fence down there, and he came out into the stands and started talking story with me.
And that's what Kurt is, isn't it? That's who he is.
Yeah, that's who he is. I mean, he's just a humble. He hasn't forgotten where he comes from. He hasn't forgotten his friends. He's just, you know, he's a special person. We're glad to have him.
And when you see this group of kids behind us, and the fact that he pays for kids from Lanai to come over and kids from Molokai to come over on his own dime, and that just says even more about Kurt the man, doesn't it?
It does. He truly gives from his heart. He doesn't expect his foundation to take care of a lot of the things, you know, like you see, on his own dime, he'll take care of this, and that's who Kurt is.
And when you think about just the fact that a young man who might have been sitting in these stands maybe back in the mid-90s before he got to Baldwin, where he graduated from in 2001, you know, is Kurt the kind of guy that these kids can look up to and say, hey, I want to be like that guy?
I think so, and not just on the field, but off the field as well. I mean, he's going to talk to these kids later on this afternoon, and everybody's got the dream to play in the big leagues someday, and it's something these guys can see. It's reality. You know, that Kurt's made it to the big leagues. He's playing baseball and making a living by doing it.
When you think back to your days on Molokai, how much would an opportunity like this have meant to you as a youngster, maybe these kids' age?
Oh, it would have meant a lot. I mean, it would have given us a dream that we're as good as the rest of the world out there, and that's what we want to give message we want to give to these kids, is that they are as good. you know, is to get that right opportunity at the right time, and maybe they can be the next Kurt Suzuki.
And now Kurt had the career year at the age of 30. That doesn't happen for catchers in the big leagues. Did it surprise you, or how did you kind of look at this all-star season that Kurt's coming off of?
Not at all, because he's willing to put in the time and effort to get better every single day. You know, he's not going to sit on his butt and let things come his way. He's going to get out there and work and change his routine. And, you know, we started with him a lot about the things that he's doing, getting in the swimming pool, doing some swimming exercises, getting up in the morning. And he said it's gotten harder to get up in the morning and go work out, but he still forces himself to do it every day.
Right on.